Consistently releasing episodes on a set schedule is a good idea to keep your overall audience happy. But that doesn't mean that every individual listener is listening to every individual episode. Is that okay? Hello and welcome to another Podcast Pontifications with me, Evo Terra. Last week, you didn't get any new episodes of Podcast Pontifications because I was in Belize. Yay! And yes, it was a lovely, lovely time. Strangely enough, I didn't get any new episodes of any podcasts while I was away. Allow me to explain. Yes, it's true. I didn't listen to any podcast episodes for 6 days. Not a one. With the exception of some approvals I had to make on some files for clients produced by the team, I didn't even put headphones or earbuds on. And I subscribe to a lot of podcasts. It wasn't a Wi-Fi issue. I had plenty of access to all of the content. They were still there on my podcatcher. Being on vacation and doing lots of other things, that was the issue. A very good issue, I know I will say. When I boarded, finally, on Saturday of last week, when I boarded the 4.5-hour first leg of the journey back, I started listening to podcasts once again. I had a pretty big backlog in my queue, as you might imagine, not listening for 6 days. So I had to be picky, or at least I chose to be picky. I caught up on 2 serialized shows that I'm listening to. No, not just fiction. Well, one was fiction, one is nonfiction. And I also listened to exactly 3 other podcast episodes from 3 different podcasts. And that was it. Now, I'll probably eventually catch up on the other episodes of the serialized shows because I'm listening to more than just those 2 serialized shows. Again, not just fiction. I'll probably catch up on all of those. But the episodic ones, you know, the normal style of podcast that release every day or week or whatever, no, I probably won't go back and listen to those episodes that I didn't listen to. And yes, those are shows that I actually enjoy listening to. I love to listen to the episodes. But I know that there's going to be another episode of that show pretty much the next couple of days. So I'll be able to get my fix without going back. Related, a week or so before my trip, I emailed a friend of mine who's a podcaster as well. A podcast I listen to on a regular basis. I'm subscribed. I had a topic, idea for this podcaster. I thought about making it an episode of Podcast Pontifications, but it's a little too esoteric, and I don't think I can tie it back into podcasting enough. But this other podcaster, they would be perfect, I know, to cover this topic in great detail and would be really enjoyable for me. Turns out, after receiving my email, they said, "We've already done that. I have already put it out," they said. And it wasn't all that long ago. I missed it. And hey, that happens. As I said, I listen to a lot of podcasts. But you know what I didn't do? Knowing full well that this podcaster who had already covered the topic I wanted them to cover, I didn't go back and listen to that previously produced episode. I mean, yes, I really wanted to hear their take on the topic, but I guess it was too much effort for me to sort through either my podcast listening app or their page with the reverse chronological order of the dump of episodes they have to figure out which episode it was. What's the point of all of this, Evo? Well, the point of all this is that this happens a lot. A lot more than we probably want to admit to ourselves. And while, yes, I know I can count on a few, very few, dedicated listeners consuming my content on a regular basis, and I'm sure that you also can count on a few, likely a very few people, dedicated to listen to every single episode you put out, neither of us can say everyone does that. Heck, we can't even say that most people do that. Now, this is the part of the show where many podcast consultants would offer up ways to make sure your audience never misses your episodes. But that's all bullshit, if I'm being honest. You can't assure that. They can't assure that. No one can ensure that will happen. And yes, serialized content has a much greater chance of having episodes not skipped. But do you want to produce a serialized show? So my advice to you is don't sweat it. And also don't assume that everyone hangs on your every word. Some do, for sure, but many more do not.
Now it's time for the Boostergram Corner.
Boostergram Corner. I don't know a thing about crypto.
I got a lot of boostergrams to get through, so let's power through these puppies. A big thanks to podcasting editing powerhouse Steve Stewart for this nice review he left on Podchaser. He says, Seth Godin is a marketing genius and always makes me think. Wait, I'm not Seth. Oh, Evo is like the Seth Godin of podcasts about podcasting. Ooh. At least 80% of the time, Steve goes on to say, Evo makes me think and rethink about all kinds of podcasting topics, best practices, and big picture strategies. While I no longer produce podcasts of my own, listening to podcast pontifications helps me work with my clients, who are all podcasters, much better. Well, thank you very much, Steve. I appreciate that. High praise, for sure. I also got a note from Coach JD of the podcast Health Talks with JD. He left a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, as well as on Podchaser. He says, much needed. I love being given the opportunity to think rather than being instructed what to do. This show allows someone who's just getting into podcasting or has been in it for a while the chance to consider what choices they can make to build a better show for themselves. A much-needed show for anyone interested in podcasting to put in their rotation. Why, thank you very much, Coach JD. I appreciate that. Also, a big shout-out and thanks to B-Rai Seltz. B-Rai, I've known for a long time. She sent me money through Venmo. Wow, yes, you can actually send me money through Venmo, as she does, with a note that says, thanks for all the valuable tips you share on podcast pontifications. B-Rai, you are very welcome, and I'm very much looking forward to the project you're working on right now, seeing how that thing takes shape. Inside meta joke just for you. And to wrap this Boostergram section up, Mr. Gary Arndt from the podcast, and also who dominates TikTok with Everything Everywhere, sent me an official boostergram saying he paid his 1776 sats and sent this message along that said, this show is part of my daily routine and one of a handful of daily podcasts I always listen to. A very fitting way to end this episode, Gary. Thanks for that. If you got value out of this episode or any of the episodes that I produce on Podcast Pontifications and you wish to return that value, we call it value for value. And you can go to podcastpontifications.com/value for value. I don't care how you spell it. You'll get there. And you'll find all of those ways which you can contribute to the show monetarily, through reviews, ratings, all of that. Podcastpontifications.com/value for value. That's it. I shall be back tomorrow with yet another Podcast Pontifications. Cheers.